Welcome back to this is officially the seventh. Is it the seventh or the eighth episode, Khan?
No, this is the 8th episode, mate.
Right, let me restart then.
I'm keeping that in.
Yeah, all right then, cool. Well, welcome back to the eighth episode of Featuring Regular People. Most importantly, like always, I want to say thank you again for tuning in. We've had some really good responses over the past few weeks since we've been releasing. We're super excited about this episode. Now, I know that we say this every single time, and it is genuine. We're always like, yeah, this was our favourite episode to date, but this is the first time that we've had two people on. A lot of you that are following our social media will know that we've collaborated with one of the brands coming on here today. But first and foremost, yeah, big up to the Lazy Scientist and Somerset Chilli for coming on today. Thanks for both joining us. And Steve, do you want to quickly run through about who you are, what your business is?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for inviting me on, both of you. It's an absolute pleasure and really nice to see everyone here. So I'm the Lazy Scientist. My name's Steve. I started my hot sauce company about 3 and a bit years ago. And just kind of started as a bit of a hobby. I've been growing chilies and making chili sauce for probably about 15 to 18 years. My friends were kind of like, look, you make it all the time, you give it away, why don't you try selling it? So I registered a company and it sold. So I made more and that sold. And here we are 3 years later.
Nice, man. We've obviously only just kind of got in touch, and this is the first time we've officially met. So massive gratitude for coming on today as well. But JJ, do you want to jump in and talk to us a little bit about your brand?
Of course, Luke, Khan, thanks so much for having me on. So yeah, I'm JJ, based in Bath, Somerset, the Somerset Chilli Co. Got hot sauce, that'll change your life. So I had to say that. Basically, how did I start? I've always loved hot sauce, and one time I just really fancied a pineapple flavoured really hot sauce, and I thought back to a time when I had, shout out Wiltshire Chili Farm. They had one with Fatale, and I can't remember what else they had it with. It's pineapple, I think, and something else. They just tasted so good, and when I went to get it again, and it was only for Halloween, so I was like, oh no. And basically, long story short, I went and just bought some pineapple, made it myself, and I thought it was so tasty, and I made loads more than what I planned to. So I gave it to my friends, and they said it was good, and here we are. I've got 4
Nice, man.
No collab.
Yeah, absolutely. We've, obviously, as you can all see on the social media as well, we've collaborated with Somerset Chilli Co. to bring our own special XXX sauce, which we will be crying about on the podcast today. First and foremost, though, before we jump into it, let's do a big cheers. Thank you all for coming on as well. And hopefully we can hear the clinking, I don't know what the word is, but of glasses in the near future.
I like that. You both kind of started out the same way, made too much sauce, gave it to your friends, and were like, all right, shit, okay, I'll sell
it. So, Steve, you've been in the game now for, you said, officially about 3 years. So you're kind of on the midway or a bit more of a veteran in the game. JJ, you've been in, I know, not as long, but I know that your car has the number plate Tabasco, which is something I'd like to point out.
Nice.
I do also have it on my arm here as well.
Oh, incredible.
So there's some real love and dedication coming into this. But what we'll do, we'll kind of go one by one all the way through it. But Steve, do you want to tell us a little bit more about kind of, I know that you mentioned the kind of inspiration at start, but what is it really that you like so much about this type of business?
Well, it's actually my second business. I used to have a chemical company that I started, and I ran that for about 5 or 6 years when I finished uni. So I'm a chemist by trade. I was a scientist. I suppose I'm not so much anymore. And I left the industry because I wasn't getting on with it anymore. If I'm really honest with you, I'd kind of had enough of it. And then became a teacher, moved to London, and then decided to start this company. And the main thing that I love about it is the industry, the enthusiasm and the community there is, especially in the UK, but also across the world. I've been to a couple of different countries, such as America. I've been to Chicago to meet other people. And it's just a big, lovely bubble that we seem to have in the UK that's just started to grow. We've got some great producers of chili, some really, really good growers who know what they're doing, especially kind of down your way, actually, JJ, to be fair. That's where I get some of my chilies from. So I'm sure you know them already. So and that's why it's kind of stuck with me. I was quite into craft beer, and I had an opportunity to decide. I wanted a company, and I thought, well, maybe I'll have a little brewery because I brew as well. And I work for a local brewery or a hot sauce company, and they've got very similar, the kind of craft beer industry and the hot sauce industry. I think they're quite well linked, and although the hot sauce industry is obviously a good few years behind, it seems to be going in the same way that craft beer did a few, 5-6 years ago. And the people are lovely. I met people on Instagram who were already fermenting stuff, and I wasn't really fermenting when I started. I'd kind of just got into it, and although I picked my tag Lazy Ferments for Instagram, at that point it was everything I was doing was for me. But and that's kind of, I've increased that side of things. I'm doing a lot more fermenting. The more people that I've spoken to, the more advice I've got. So there's a guy up in Aberdeen, Singularity Hot Sauces, and I'm always chewing his ear off. And I've found that with lots of people, they're really happy for you to just go in and say, look, what's going on? How do you do this? And so that's why, and I'm invested. I'm really invested in it now. I love the community. I love the way the industry is going for us as well. So it's just a really nice place to be. And JJ, if you haven't done any chili festivals yet, when they start doing it, and you've got just chili producers and hot sauce producers, you're gonna have a great day. You're gonna have an absolute great day. And that's what really kicked me into it. About 3 months after starting selling, there was a chili festival in Peckham, Hot Sauce Society, first chili festival in London, and it was mayhem. 4,500 people turned up. There was 40 sellers. I didn't stop. I didn't even go to the toilet for 9 hours. It was just bang, 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 bang. And then being able to go around afterwards and just talk to people, and everyone's like, wow, that was crazy. So I think that's the main thing. It's just so much love in the industry, and everyone's kind of so willing in the UK to help each other. And we're all doing such different things, and it's great. It's really good.
Nice, man. It's a really cool answer, and there's a few points there which I'm going to follow up on shortly as well. But JJ, do you want to kind of go through a little bit the same as well?
Cool. So Steve, I definitely agree. I think craft beer is a few years ahead, and hot sauce is going the same way. I've got a weird fact, or it's not weird to me, but probably to most people. Tabasco was made 150 years ago, and people thought it was really weird. They were hearing about it. They go, "What? So your food hurts?" It was in Louisiana, and it's like, this didn't make sense. And that's 150 years ago. The buffalo wing was only created 50 years ago, so it's 100 years for us to catch up to that. But I think innovation, that's a little bit too long. That's unacceptable.
I mean, some of the weird and wonderful facts that we're going to learn today. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, kind of going on then. So, in terms of the different sources that you've got, let's start with these. So, JJ, do you want to kind of go through the two that we'll try tonight? So we've got the Circus and the XXX Circus. So do you want to talk to us about those two, the inspiration, the ingredients?
Cool. Well, I mean, it's hard to talk about the two without talking about them all. But,
love that.
I've made the range to suit all preferences. So Narco is for that. I've got a lot of people who don't like spice, my girlfriend included, Rose. Coconut and lime, padron peppers, roasted. It's not spicy. I don't actually think it deserves two fees. It's at one. La Playa, this is the one that actually inspired me. This is the pineapple one, but I turned it up, added. You've tasted it. You both tasted that actually.
Mate, mine's gone.
That's what you were talking about earlier.
2 days after I got it, it's so banging.
I decided to mix it up. So it got pineapple, but then added kiwi and passion fruit, and I found my old favourite chili fatale. And this, I mean, it's called the Playa because the Playa is Spanish for the beach, and the exotic taste and feeling, I just had to call it that. Right, the circus, that's strawberry, mango, and Carolina Reaper, which is arguably the hottest chili in the world. The Guinness World Records are yet to review, if I'm correct, Pepper X, which is made by the same grower, where he combines this with something else. It's on Hot Ones, which is where I aspire to be. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, one day.
So this is for the people who they like their spice. Some people have told me it was very, very spicy, and some people said, no, I can do more. So I just thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to collab with featuring regular people to make the XXX. So I put double, it's the same as the circus, but double the amount of Carolina Reaper. And boy, packs a punch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like Khan was just saying a second ago, we were actually going to bring the Player on because arguably, like, it's my favourite as well. And honestly, the lack of self-discipline that we have, it's disgusting.
I used to be a little bit funny about like fruity hot sauces, but mate, La Playa, like I literally was putting it on everything I ate the day I got it. Yeah, it's seriously nice. Yeah, it's really good stuff. And like even the Triple X, like, I'm quite good with hot food though. Like it's really, really nice. But yeah, you do have to go easy on it for sure.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the Lazy Scientist or Sausenberg as we've called him now.
We started calling you. I don't know if you know that, Steve. I don't know if Luke's mentioned, but when
I like it. It's good.
You used to be a chemist and then you were a teacher. I'm like, oh, so Sausenberg, yeah.
Nice. I like that. I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got Sausenberg and the. Sorry, bro.
That's all right, mate. I was done. Go.
Yeah, we've got Sausenberg for the Lazy Scientist and the Chili Man for JJ. These are just, yeah. But anyway, back off the tangent. So yeah, we've got the Lazy Scientist Reaper, which I won't lie, I have moved house and my bottle went a bit funny. It got wet.
Yeah, I'm looking into new labels because I do everything myself at the moment still, and yeah, just because I hadn't quite got to the point. I keep changing things, especially with my labels, and it took me. I've done a little blog post on my website, and I've probably gone for about 10 or 11 different renditions of labels since I first started, and I'm happy with them now. I'm about to start getting them done professionally on the rolls, and I've got a labeling machine and blah 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 to make my life easier. So yeah, that is the only problem with them, but everything is hand done, literally from start to end at the moment. So that's why. Just quickly, I just want to say, JJ, interesting enough, I've never met JJ before, never really had a conversation with him. The Fatale is my favorite pepper as well.
Really?
Yeah, it has been for about 10 or so years. I grow them as well because nobody does. They're really difficult to get hold of. They don't really exist in the UK much. There's a couple of growers. When you said it, I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So this is good.
So we've got the Reaper.
Yeah.
You can tell by looking at this little. Oh, sorry, no, go on that one. Yeah.
So we've got the 2020 Hot AF. So as fuck, I'm assuming. Which, to be honest with you, we're kind of scared to try. But yeah, do you want to talk to us a little bit about kind of those two sources, the ingredients, and why you were inspired to make them in particular?
Cool. So I'll start with the Brixton Reaper. So this is my best-selling sauce. The base version of it is called Brixton. The name's changed a couple of times. I initially developed it as a pizza crust dip, and I called it Czar, which is like an Americanism for pizza. And I was trying to emulate the Domino's garlic and herb dip, that kind of creaminess that you get from it, and I managed to find a West African recipe that has oil in it, and it's the oil that gives it that creaminess. and then every now and then when I do really big batch, so I did 200 bottles for an order, and obviously I had a few left over at the bottom. So what I did was just chuck in a load of Reaper mash to it from Chili Mash Co down in Portsmouth, just to bump it up, because there's always somebody, every time you go out, there's always one person that's like, what's your hottest thing? I'm like, well, I don't really do crazy hot sauces. They're all really delicious. They're like, no, I don't care about the flavor. I just want the hottest thing. So it's like, fine, okay, whatever. And I mean, it's not crazy hot. It's still completely edible. I didn't want to take it too far. It's gone up a notch from the standard one. And then the other one you've got, I do, because I grow my own chilies, every year I do seasonal ferments for my own personal enjoyment. For example, the 2 bottles you've got were 2 of 5 that came out of a jar, and they're always different. And the names, you get to a point where you really struggle to find new names for things. And I had a medium sauce, so it's called 2020 Med. And then I had a hot one, and that was hot. And I was like, well, this is a bit too hot. So hot AF, there you go, done. And although I don't have any more bottles of that, I've bought a bottle of my own. I haven't tried this yet properly after making it, which is a ferment with passion fruit and what else did I put in there? Blueberry and passion fruit. It's been fermenting for a while. But I think it's probably going to be about the same level as the one that I've given you. So if we're going to suffer, we can all suffer together.
Yeah, this looks serious. When because Luke messaged me and he was like, "Oh, your sauces should be here now." And I opened the thing and I saw this and I was like, "That looks really nice. It's got like a really nice color to it. You can tell it's going to be enjoyable." And you see that and you're like, "That's been designed to fuck you up." But you're absolutely right, mate. Like, you always get these people. Like, I used to work in a Thai restaurant for years, and you always get these guys who are like, "What's your hottest curry?" And then they're like, "Right, chuck loads more chilies on it. I want it really hot." And they're like, sat at the table sweating and crying, like, "Is that hot enough, mate?" And they're like, "No, could be hotter." And it's just like, you will meet these people, especially at a chili festival. So I think it's, designed perfectly, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, I have tried some of the Brixton Reaper on some food recently. I was trying again to be self-disciplined and not open the bottle until the episode. However, I opened it, smelt it, and yeah, it was just, all of the ones that we've been sent are just absolutely beautiful. Now, I think, to be perfectly honest with you, we should just go ahead and try a little bit, actually. So, JJ and Steve, give us an option. Should we ease into it, or should we just go full fucked?
Well, both of mine are pretty hot, so I think if you've got one of the milder ones, I'd start with them first. You're not going to taste anything after that.
JJ, what do you reckon? Should we go circus or XXX?
Yeah, circus.
All right.
Circus, wicked.
Wicked. I got some little dishes as well. It's perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Now, I also, I said to Khan this morning, I was like, or last night when we spoke about this episode and we were planning a little bit through and blah, blah, blah. But I said to Khan, just make sure that you get some biscuits or, some crackers or something like that. Not biscuits, crackers. So we can dip the sauce onto, and then we can dip it, and eat it with that. Now, I was on the way back home this morning. The shop was here. So on the corner of the street, and there was a coffee cart that had pulled up with fresh cake. I got distracted, bought cake, and forgot to buy the crackers. It was an Oreo cake, and I just thought, you know what, I can't. And then I forgot about the crackers. So I'm going to have to do it off a trusty spoon, not a rusty spoon.
It's all right. I've got my spoon.
I got a little bit of cheese. So I got a spoon as well. I got some smoked cheese.
That's a good shout.
Some smoked cheese. Now we know that he's living the good life. Right, so we'll go for the circus first, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. So this is the circus by Somerset Chilli Co. You can find all of this, but we'll pop the links and we'll talk about social media and stuff like that shortly anyway. But Khan, how much are you putting on?
Mate, I'm just going to go for like a solid dip. So I didn't want to get a cracker because I'm not going to have hot sauce on a cracker.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to have to keep...
I bought a beef patty and I'm just going to dip it in that.
You see that?
Just to show people on...
that's more than me.
Yeah?
I've just gone for an enjoyable amount on there.
Oh, okay. Well, I went dangerous. I can't pour it back now because I'm...
That's it.
Let's go.
Right, you ready?
See, that to me is like perfect.
It's nice, but I had a lot. Oh, I am a little bit tired, I won't lie.
So that one's strawberry, JJ.
Strawberry, mango, Carolina Reaper.
Awesome. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, because I've tried the XXX, but I haven't tried this one yet. And yeah, that's banging. That's really nice.
Yeah,
I find you have like the sweet, almost like smoothie, like strawberry mango explosion, and then the Reaper creeps.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Reaper with fruits in it. I do a mango sauce that's with Carolina Reaper. I think they really pair really, really nicely because they're so fruity anyway. I find if you try and go too savoury with them, for me, it doesn't really work with the Reaper.
I won't lie. My lips are tingling. I'm hiccuping.
That's the sign. Hiccup. Do you know when your jaw kind of goes here, and I'm like, you can feel it like crunching up. I'm like, oh.
For me,
however,
I don't
it's beautiful.
Find hot sauce feel like inside the mouth, but it's when you eat it in like a wrap and it gets on your face.
Yeah,
when it burns the outer skin that I really start to struggle.
Woo! That was good. I enjoyed. Well, I say I enjoyed it. I loved it. However, Khan, I feel like next time with the next one, mate, we're going to have to up your load a little bit.
Yeah. All right, fine. Well, look, this bit's like quite hollow, so I could just fill it, and it can be sort of like a saucy cup.
A saucy cup. That's the exact way that I'm sure these guys would describe it.
Yeah. You also told me to up my load. I don't think you quite realised what came out of your mouth as you said.
Not sure. It's
very good point. Right. So, should we go for the Brixton Reaper?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Now this is from Salzenberg's collection. It is The Lazy Scientist, which you'll be able to find on social media. As I said, we'll post all the links, etc. But this is the Brixton Reaper with some sediments of the the circus from the last spoon.
I'm
left out now. I'm just going to watch.
I know. To be fair, we probably should have organised it so you two exchanged.
I was thinking that as well, but it is what it is.
We'll get them next time.
We'll do another one. So
It is what it is. Yeah, when you guys release your next crazy ones, we will do that. However, we can also go to a chili festival together.
Hopefully September.
It's now, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been told I've got my place August. I think it's August 21st or 22nd. They changed it.
Oh, for Hot Sauce Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I'm there. I paid for it like a year ago. They can't get rid of me.
I'll see. Way ahead of me. Way ahead of me.
Yeah, no, it's been cancelled on me 3 times, but I can't wait. I can't wait.
Doesn't see there.
Yeah, wicked. Good times.
Yes.
Right, should we go for it?
Yeah, well, look at this. I've like, you can't. I'm going to spill it everywhere, but I've filled that up in there, so that's good.
All right. Well, I've got the same amount as last time.
I just fucking blew on it as if that's going to help.
I just love that one.
Yeah, mate.
It's funny. I make my Brixton is my best seller by a long shot. You know, it outsells everything 3 or 4 times, and I'm so used to it as a sauce. I haven't actually had the Reaper for a while. Yeah, it's quite nice with the extra heat.
Yeah.
Well, it's similar to how obviously JJ had the circus and then done a hotter version. So this is an upped version of your bestseller, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bit more power about it.
That's it. And it's literally just, if I have a few bottles or a little bit extra left in the bottom of the pan, I'll throw something in. I did a Brixton Lager with some fermented chilies that somebody sent me, so threw them in. I've done one with there's a guy who does chili powders, and he sent me some crazy boot Jalokia hybrid thing that's over 1 million scov or whatever, and so I did one of them. So yeah, they come out about 2 or 3 times a year. It tends to be when someone wants a big order of just the Brixton, and then I'll do it, and it's just nice as a little thing. And most of these I tend to just send out as freebies to a few friends and people that like their hot sauce, rather than selling them, because yeah, it's just a little bit nice, I think.
Yeah, they were both really, really good. And like the thing with like the hotter sauces as well, like you tend to lose the flavor, but both of those are still so flavorsome. I think you were right, JJ, like you get the flavor first and you're like, oh, that was really pleasant, and then the heat's just like, hold on a second, here I come.
Yeah.
Hold your beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still taste the tingling on my lips.
I can't believe you went through it off a spoon, mate. You've got to have some sort of tasty treat on there.
No, I know. I don't really snack. So to be honest with you, it was either a spoon or off my finger.
Yeah,
and if I fidget and move my contact lens, then I will be blind. So, you know, it is what it is.
That was a nice entry level. I'm going to suggest we save these for towards the end, because these are going to write me off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cry for the next half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things I wanted to go into next as well, like you were both saying that the culture is, you know, one of the biggest kind of inspiration factors for you both. And it's just something, the reason why you're so passionate about this. So kind of give me a couple of highlights of your journey so far. JJ, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. As you've seen, I love hot sauce. I've done it for a long time. I've done a lot of traveling. So I went to school in America for a bit. My mum's from New York, and I went and did some work in the red light district in Amsterdam. I went and worked in Tenerife and went along the couple of strips they've got there and did volunteer work in the Philippines. So I spent like the first half of my 20s just trying to find myself, travel and explore, and just seeing how other people in other places live. Came back, didn't really know what to do. In and out of the hospitality industry for, I say, on and off 10 years. I've been managing restaurants and cafes, and I just felt like I wanted to do something different or do something more. So I went to Glasgow Uni, because I was living in Bath. I didn't actually go to halls or anything. I just studied from home and just went there and graduated with a business degree during COVID last year. And I'm going to be 30 this year as well, so I've done it as a mature student, and yeah, cheers for that.
You're going to be 30?
Yeah, this year, yeah, can you believe it? I got ID for these as well. I got ID for these today.
Honestly, it's mad. So me and JJ met last summer in Greece. We were there. I was with a friend and he was with his partner, and because of COVID, the bars closed at 12. So we were walking back along the same street. We didn't know each other then. And basically, I was talking about something, and I think JJ chimed in and was like, "Oh, it's this." And to be honest, at the time, I must have thought he was like 22, 23. It was, it was absolutely mad. So that's kind of how this kind of came about originally. But honestly, I was really surprised to hear that you're actually older than me.
It was such a random night. I've been to Corfu and that area 5 years in a row, and I bumped into you. I thought one of my mates, I was just going to live, and then you just said, "Oh, we come back to yours for a party," and I was like, "Yeah." And then we had a really good night. It was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was honestly, it was it was really good fun. I mean, there was Yeah, it was eventful as well. But I'm sure we can go into that shortly after. As it always is. But yeah, Steve, do you want to talk about... thank you, I should say, JJ, for sharing that as well. Steve, do you want to kind of talk to us about a couple of your highlights on the journey so far?
Gosh, it's a good question. It's been quite a few. So I think I've just been really kind of lucky and kind of blessed with the people I've had around me. So when I first started, I was running brewing workshops for a local brewery called London Beer Lab. I've actually got some of their beers that I'm drinking at the moment.
Nice.
They're still really good mates to me. But when I said this is something I want to do, they were like, okay, cool. You just put them on the counter, see if they sell. So I did, and they sold, and I made more. And a couple of them, they're quite chili heads as well, so I kind of keep them supplied with chili sauce as well. And yeah, they've just been really, really lovely to me. Like they let me have their sauce on the counter for almost a year. Never expected anything from me. Gave me all the money from those kind of sales and stuff, which really gave me that massive boost to begin with, because it is difficult to begin with. You don't have the confidence. I think, you know, I'd been making chili sauces for 10, 12 years before I started making them commercially. And there is that nervousness at the beginning of, what if people don't like it? And they, you know, because people can be quite harsh or honest, I say, maybe not harsh, honest.
Maybe a mix.
Yeah, maybe a bit harsh as well. So yeah, and that, I suppose that was the highlight when it started selling. And I think getting my first repeat customers, people starting to go to the brewery to pick up bottles of sauce as well as beer, but also specifically going there to get some of my bottles of sauce. And then me being there and seeing them, you know, buy them in front of me, and then having those conversations. And I really, really like that. I'm quite a sociable person, so, you know, being able to connect with people over something like chili sauce is really lovely. And it's that instant kind of, okay, it's a craft beer place, you also like chili sauce. It's an instant conversation starter. So the world that it's opened up to me and the people I've met because of it, I think have been the best part of it. I suppose that's why I really wanted to do it, was to run a company and you know, meet people and get out there, and it's really worked. So it's nice.
Yeah, man, that's it's a really cool story as well. I mean, it's just, it kind of goes to show, doesn't it, that if you're you know, you're really passionate about something, and obviously both of you, as you can just taste in the sauces themselves, you clearly are very talented and passionate, and it's just nice to kind of see those things take off the ground. But yeah.
Well, I think like that's part of the reason I was like really excited when Luke first like came to me with this idea of like, so obviously me and Luke both fucking love hot sauce. That's why we're doing this. And also like Luke was like, oh, what if we like collaborated with this guy that I know and we got our label on a bottle of a hot sauce? And I was like, yeah, mate, that'd be fucking sick. And like, I think more so now with the pandemic and stuff, like it's really important to support, I say local businesses. Neither of you are particularly close to me, but like your small businesses, like you're doing it all yourself. And I think it's important to like showcase businesses like that at the moment, especially with the pandemic where people are struggling. And like, that's why I wanted to do this episode, because I wanted to like, not that we have a massive following, but like the four of us together, that's a lot of people that are going to now know about these sauces. And I'm just excited for more people to try this stuff. Like, obviously, JJ, you gave us a few bottles of the Triple X. And I took that around to one of my mates' houses and was like, look, you have this, try this. And just like, nice to like have the four of us here together, like trying it and just getting it out there, man. It's been a really cool conversation. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the biggest thing. And on the flip side of the you know, the kind of local brands is, we wanted to make sure we were going with you know, brands that were local, like UK brands, all kind of homegrown grassroots kind of products as well, which you know, obviously you've both been established for a little while now, but it was just finding those right brands that we felt, you know, that we wanted to kind of work with. But on the flip side of it as well, you know, it's hugely, I mean, to you know, to have our little labels on one of your bottles, JJ, is, you know, it's a massive blessing for us as well. But I mean, how was kind of, obviously, you know, Khan was just touching on the lockdown there. How was COVID and the lockdown kind of impacted your businesses and, you know, your kind of livelihoods as a whole? Steve, do you want to go first?
Good question. For me, actually, it's been really positive. So I'm a teacher full time. I have Wednesdays is my production day, so I don't teach on Wednesdays. I get to stay at home, and that's when I do everything. And it tends to be that's a longer, busier day than any other day put together. But lockdown was really good for me. So the first one, our school wasn't completely set up for online learning, and I was a bit of at loose end. And I'd started building a website, I don't know, 2 years ago now, I suppose, and then just had forgotten about it, let it go under the radar. So what I did was in that very first lockdown, I spent 4 weeks building my website, getting that done. And so for me, it's been really beneficial. The second I launched the website, I was getting orders left, right, and center. I think that it took me from that, just an Instagram, person making something in their home to being a bit more official. And I really noticed the traction of having an official, like a proper website. People were buying a few things, PayPaling me and stuff on Instagram, but the second I had a website and they can go on and it's secure and it's made, it's verified, they can play with PayPal, they can do this, it just, the sales kind of shot up. And obviously at the beginning it was friends and family, bless them, great sales for my friends and family and all of that. And then once that had died off, I was still getting pretty decent, steady sales from people I'd, never heard of, or I don't even know if they were followers and things like that. So yeah, for me, it's actually, I've ramped up a lot in the last year because of COVID. And I don't think I would have had the time to do it, to be honest with you, big full-time teacher and doing the other things that I do as well. So for me, nothing, business side of things, super positive. And we'll leave it at
that. JJ, same for you, I guess.
Bro, COVID's the reason I'm here. Like, I wouldn't be doing this without it. Like, when it first hit, I wasn't living in this house. I was living 2 streets away, but I wasn't living in this house. It was smaller, and I graduated. I was on set to get graduate jobs, so I was working really hard to get good marks on all my exams and stuff. And then COVID hit, everything went out the window. I ended up moving to a much bigger house, which ended up being a blessing, and just ended up thinking, what can I do? Like, for the first few months, I was just feeling a bit negative and down, and sort of, the world's going to end, and just kind of just riding with it because it's easier. And I just thought, no, let's try and make something out of this. And now I think I'm set this year to have probably my best year I've ever had, and that's because of that. And it's all just, you start off so small. It just happened because I wanted to make pineapple sauce that I liked. I tried one time, and then I connected with a friend I've known over 10 years, Will. He runs and founded Country Boys Collective. They have CBD, hemp, lots of products like that, based in Frome and Taunton. And he got in touch and said, we've got loads of chilies growing. How would you like to try some? And then he said, for Tully. And then I was just like, right. That's kind of how I just went with there. And then he said he had Reaper as well. And then so I thought, the Somerset Chilli Co. If I use the chilies from Taunton, which is Somerset, and then all my fruit and veg is from Super Space, Oldfield Park, shout out them, and Exotic Fruit Company in Bath, shout out them too. So I only really use 3 suppliers, and they're all local. Obviously, the exotic fruit isn't grown in Somerset, unfortunately, but it's sourced. I buy it from Somerset, and the chilies are grown here. And that's kind of how I was born.
That's brilliant, man. That's so good to hear from both of you, because I think COVID and the lockdown, for obvious reasons, has been a very negative thing for lots of people. It's nice that you've both been able to find a way to thrive within that, and it's kind of taken your businesses to that next level. And I think, Steve, what you were saying about you wouldn't have had the time, one thing that the first lockdown in particular did bring was a lot of free time. And JJ, you said COVID's the reason you're here. The only reason me and Luke have a podcast is because we were FaceTiming every week, and we were like, should we just fucking record this? Why not? And then we decided, yeah, should we get some guests on though? Because people aren't just going to want to listen to us.
As much as we'd like to think we're that interesting, we're just simply not. You know, we solely rely on people actually coming on and making sure that, you know, they're a lot more interesting than us.
What made me laugh, actually, me and JJ, me and Luke were talking about this earlier. Was it today or yesterday? The way you guys first met, where you were talking about something and Luke was like, oh, yeah, it's this. And then you ended up partying, whatever. That's how me and Luke met. We were on a bus.
Common denominator.
Yeah, literally, mate. We were on a bus to Byron Bay, and I heard Luke talking about something to do with fear and loathing in Las Vegas, and I was like, this is how I meet strangers. I just interject myself in conversations, and now, like, here we are. So yeah, it's funny, man. It is funny.
Lots of serendipity in this world, which is obviously a great thing. Now, there was a couple of things that you guys mentioned earlier as well that I'd like to, I don't know, some crazy ideas. So, Steve, you were talking about, obviously, the craft beer scene and that you craft your own beer as well. So, is there any kind of hopes or is there any ideas in terms of kind of combining the two?
I've done a few collaborations with London Beer Lab, my local brewery, the one that I also do workshops for, where I've done a couple of chili beers with them that actually sold really well, which was good. And we also did a collaboration with Volcano Coffee, who are local roasters that are kind of next door to the brewery. And I'm in Brixton. I don't know if I said that, but I'm in Brixton in London. So I'm really kind of lucky. We've got lots of really cool independent businesses all very, very close to each other. So yeah, and I've got a few other things in the pipeline for that as well. It's one of those things, and I'm really, really honest about this. When I came down to the decision of, shall I start a brewery or shall I start a hot sauce business, my mates very kindly turned around and said, well, let's be honest, mate, you're not going to bankrupt yourself on hot sauce, are you? So that's kind of why that one won. And, you know, I looked into it and it cost £100,000 for a brewery and 50 quid for a massive stock pot. That's kind of how it went. But yeah, I love the collabs. I love working with other people, whether it just be random people that I've met on Instagram that just get on with a super cool, maybe just do some graphics, so I get them to do a bottle label or something like that, or I get sent ingredients all the time from people, whether they're you know, growing chilies, they do powders, they do this, they do that, coffee, obviously, beers as well. So yeah, there's massive scope, I think, with chilies. It's the more people are getting involved, you know, everything, chocolate, beer, ice cream, liquor, you name it now, everything's got it in. So yeah, and I love that, and I love kind of having those bouncing off other people's for their ideas and seeing how things work together. So yeah, I've got I'm hoping next year when I really want to go and be able to meet some of these people that I've done stuff with over the last year. I was saying this to my housemates there, you know, even with you guys, it would be lovely to go and meet all these people that I've had chats with and done collabs with. I've never met some of these people on Instagram, but we've made sauces together. And you know, this guy up in Aberdeen that I was saying, who at the very beginning, Singularity, really helped me out with everything. He's wonderful, and I want to go up there and meet him at some point. So yeah, I love that side of things. You know, I'll do anything. I know people doing gummy bears and sweets and, you know, all types of stuff. So there's so much scope for it. And you know, product wise, I've got loads of things in the pipeline at the moment as well. That I'm looking into. I'm about to hopefully release some spice rubs and a few things like that to kind of get into the barbecue community, because they got in contact with me and said, oh, you know, we love your sauces, are you doing anything else? And it wasn't something I'd really thought of, but then again, I think that's going to be a really nice extra kind of side of the business, which is good. So yeah, anything, I'm up for it. I remember the first podcast I did about a year ago. I was like, the one thing I will say is, if you ask me to do something, I'm going to say yes, and then I'll figure out how to do it. But you know, it will happen. But if someone gives me an idea, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, and then I'll worry about the logistics afterwards. But I'm not a person that really says no very often, because you know, I enjoy the challenge and doing new things.
That's a hot sauce thing. That's a hot sauce thing. They don't like saying
That's it.
No, that's nice, man. I mean, if there's some chili beers, obviously, me and Carm will be very on that. However, I mean, obviously, we're just keen for everything chili orientated anyway.
Yeah,
but
sure.
JJ, what do you reckon then? What's your kind of your ideas for when we get out of lockdown, or your next kind of product ideas? What you, if you can reveal them, obviously.
Well, let me see, what can I reveal? I'm going to be going to markets. Some markets are still open, but I am waiting just until like a bit more like good news, restrictions lifted, people are a bit happier. I've got 3 new sauces that I'm waiting to release. I want kind of like spring, summer sauces. So I kind of want to wait till the sun is off. Then I think it's going to be, this is a good time to launch it. But I just wanted to go back to the reason why I think, I've chosen exotic sauces, because I find a lot of hot sauce companies, I love garlic, I love truffle, I love all like tomato, salsa, I love pizza, but I haven't really seen much that just focus just on exotic fruit. And like I have a lot of like friends or just people that say to me, exotic fruit and chili. And it's weird to them. But if you said that to someone in the Caribbean, that's breakfast. That's literally like if you go to McDonald's anywhere in the Caribbean, they give you hot sauce with your Big Mac. So like, I feel like they don't know enough yet. So I think everyone like in their different boroughs and counties, if they have like an independent person who's making sauce, all of a sudden they're like exposed to it. And I feel like people say competition, are you scared of the competition? The more competition there is, the better we're all going to do, and that's the journey that craft beer's gone on. And that's why you see all these colourful beers in Tesco, because there are so many of them. And I feel because of Instagram, lockdown, the internet, it's like becoming that way with hot sauce, and I can't wait. And I'm so excited for Hot Sauce Society later in the year. I'm going to be there and meet everyone who I've been connecting with. And Steve, I'll see you there too.
Big time. I can't wait, mate. I really can't. I'm so excited.
We'll have to get down to that and meet these guys in person. Well, you obviously already met JJ, but try some hot sauces in person.
Yeah, absolutely. When are the actual dates of this? Are they confirmed yet, or we?
Yeah, so they changed the dates. She emailed me, Ali, if I remember right.
Yeah, Ali.
21st. Yeah, Ali. Yeah. August or that weekend.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll have a little research, or if you want to send some links over to, obviously the tickets, etc. But what are we saying then? Shall we try the next ones?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, God, I'm slightly nervous. I won't even lie.
I'm shitting myself about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know
this one.
So just quickly, James. What's the difference between the Circus and the XXX? How have you changed it?
It is just double the amount of Carolina Reaper.
Okay.
So
just doubled.
Some people said the Circus isn't enough. I was like, okay, fine. So you love it, but you want more pain. Okay, cool. So,
brilliant. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. To be honest with you, that's the best way of doing it. If you ever want to change a sauce, just double the amount of the chili, or just add another chili into it that is another level, and that's it. New sauce done.
Right. So, I mean, I've had the XXX Circus on a few dinners now, and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely beautiful. However, I've always kind of softened it a little with the Narco or the La Playa.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I've not actually braved enough to have it on its own yet.
I've never done that, so I'm going to try that now. I'm going to have a little bit of the player with XXX, because I haven't tried that. You said that, and I actually forgot.
Yeah, honestly, if you mix up some of the combinations of these sauces, and obviously now I've opened the bottle, Steve, of your 2020 Hot as Fuck, I will be able to actually combine them now I've opened it, because I was trying to... The discipline wouldn't last with the Brixton Reaper, but it did last with this, because it, as you said... well, actually, I don't know if I told you this, Khan. So I asked Steve how it would be, and he said it's just about edible.
Oh, good.
For me, the thing is, I'm not a massive spice head. I love my chili sauces, but I do have a reasonable limit, and and you go above that, and I'm just not interested. And it's funny, I do loads of sauce swaps with lots of people, and I looked at my I've got a bookcase in the front room in the lounge, and I have one level for it, and it's all hot sauce. And I was looking the other day, and nearly everything on there at the moment I'm left with is things that I can't handle.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't, because they're just too much. I mean, and there's a couple of them there that are they're tasty, they're so lovely, but a couple of drops and it just kills me. So yeah, it's weird. And I find my tolerance goes up and down. You know, or sometimes I'll take my Brixton, which I've been making forever now, and it catches me off guard every now and then, and it's not silly hot, but yeah, every now and then you get something.
Yeah. Well, I was always kind of all right with spice, but it really hit a point for me one day. So I was working at this media company in Bournemouth. I was doing a month placement there, and the boss, he was one of these guys who he's like a young entrepreneur, had too much money for his own good. And I found this out because he took us all out for lunch. We were at Turtle Bay, and he offered me 100 quid to just drink some, it was, you know, like Old Bay's, like chili sauce, just straight out the bottle.
Yeah.
And I've had that load, so I was like, yeah, that's going to be nothing. I was skint. I was like, 100 quid, come on. Literally necked, like probably that much. And he was like, well, that wasn't very good. And he went into the kitchen and asked the chef for like the biggest chilies. And you guys probably know, the bigger the chili, the less spicy it actually is. It's the little ones you have to be careful of. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I'll put it in the podcast. But I munched this whole chili down. That was another 100 quid. So I'm £200 up at this point, and my mouth's hurting a bit. And then we go back to the office after lunch, and then he rings me from the other, he rings one of the guys in the office from his other office. And he's like, okay, bring Khan, all of you come, like, stop working, stop what you're doing now, come to the office, we're going to film a chili challenge. And there was this girl there, and she had some, like, Carolina Reapers in a bag. So this ended up, like, it was between the two of us who could eat the most Carolina Reapers, got 100 quid. I ate 3. I was £300 up at this point, and I'd just eaten some hot things. The other 2 were fine. The chili and the hot sauce were fine. 3 raw Carolina Reapers. My stomach wasn't right for genuinely about 2 months. Like, genuinely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like,
I'm surprised.
I cried for like 2 hours, and then it's like, you know, when you see people do the chili challenge on YouTube, I did that, but I didn't film it. And mate, yeah, every day for about a month, I woke up and I just still had a stomach ache. But yeah, ever since then, I've kind of been all right with pretty much anything.
Yeah, I bet. I'm not a chili challenge person. I think these people are lunatics. I grow my own chilies, and there's only about 3 or 4 times that I've ever tried a proper fresh chili. And I don't think they need to even be that hot. There's something about them being fresh that destroys me. I can take Carolina Reapers and turn them into a sauce.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I'm all right. But no, I wouldn't. There's no. You would have to pay me a lot more than 100 quid. I tell you right now, a lot more than 100 quid for me to eat a Carolina Reaper fresh. No way. Not interested.
Funnily enough, going from like minus 20 quid to 300 quid, I didn't think it was worth it, to be honest with you, mate. At the end of the day, I wanted more money.
Yeah, I bet.
But
a similar kind of story actually. Before we dive into this one, so I was also very skint a few years ago. So I'd moved up. I was doing my apprenticeship. 10 years ago, apprenticeship money was what, £3.70 an hour or something disgusting like that. And I used to go in my boss a couple of times a week would bring in different chilies or different chili sauces, and he brought in this one. I think it was something ridiculous, like 1.2 million Scovilles. It was like a Naga Viper or something like this. Anyway, it's 10 years ago, so my memory's obviously not great. And there was a festival in the Isle of Wight that I wanted to go to, and go down and see my family and my friends, but I couldn't afford it. And he said, right, if you eat these 3 in a row, I will pay for your travel down there. I'll buy your festival ticket, and I'll give you £200 spending money for the weekend as well.
wow.
I thought, you know what? All of this in total is probably like £600. What a ridiculous offer. And I think he probably would have lent me the money anyway. But you know, the fact he was giving it to me was incredible. So I would just try these chilies, and I had this Naga Viper one, which was over 1 million Scovilles. Honestly, like I thought like I was gonna go into like an anaphylactic fit.
You hyperventilate. You literally can't breathe. You're like, and you're cold, but you're sweating. None of it makes any sense, mate. It's horrible.
No, and it was just, you know, like I'm asthmatic, so and I thought at one point I was literally going to have an asthma attack and die. It was, I mean, needless to say, had a great time at the festival. I probably still had the shits by the time I got there, but you know, it is what it is. But without further ado, then. Which one do you want to go for first this time, Khan? Should we go for the XXX or the 2020 Hottest Fuzz?
I want to go for this last, for obvious reasons.
You're probably massively disappointed. Like, it's just because it was the hottest out of the three. So.
Right.
Okay, so we're going for the XXX now, are we?
Yeah, I'm going.
All right, cool. So we've got the XXX.
Mine's these two mixed up. Leclerc.
Perfect. Right.
I do have a question. Sorry to bust in, but why Circus? Because I'm always interested about how people come up with their names, because I struggle with naming stuff.
I'm going to try this and cry whilst JJ answers that.
That's nice. Okay, cool. So, the circus is a ring of houses in Bath.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
And if you look at it from above, the street that comes off the circus is called Gay Street, actually, and it goes down and it like creates a key, and there's a lot of weird history / Illuminati vibes to like how it got created and why, and the money that was used to fund it, because it was, when it got created, it was, shout out Rob Kieran's for this information. Actually, he told me, he said that the circus was so elite. It wasn't just like lords and people who are sort of well-to-do. This was like dukes, the top people, 100 years wanted to live here. And it's about five minutes drive from where I live, and I think it's a great little picture. I've been taking pictures for years, and I was like, you know what, it deserves a sauce named after it. And I think as well, the journey that it takes you on, that thing that Luke's got right now, that like...
Yeah. So I keep smiling at him because I could tell that he's struggling.
I'm trying to be really quiet while you answer this question, but...
Yeah.
That's wicked though, JJ. I like that there's that much hiccups. I like that there's that much thought gone into it. That's really interesting.
I like how there's that much hiccups.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the hiccups. But yeah, no, that's wicked.
Oh, yeah.
So, Steve, if you're ever struggling to name things going forward, there's a group chat of the four of us now. So just let us know and we'll spitball some things at you for
Big
sure.
time. No, good. Thank you. Yeah, I need it.
My God, I am... I
Before
can't.
Luke recovers, let's do it.
It's XXX for a reason.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It has 3 X's, mate. It really does.
Yeah.
My mouth.
How many?
I might not recover.
How much Reaper do you think you've got in there per litre on the XXX?
That's a good question. So I use, for that one, for a kilo, to make 50 bottles. You probably know what that means.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a lot. Yeah. In my head, I'm like, yeah. Get the calculator out, but that sounds like quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think I do
10% on this, yeah. So yeah, kilo, and then for this, so this is 9%. Kilo.
Right.
no, yeah.
Are we ready to go again?
Steve, you can let me know how much I fucked up my night.
As I say, I don't even have any bottles of that left. I thought I'd kept one, but I didn't. So I'm going to try this. This one. I know that it's going to really hurt because.
Oh fuck!
So
honestly.
I did like 10 different sauces, and this was basically everything I have left. I think this has got fatali jigsaw. It's definitely got some bucciolocchia in there and a couple other things, and then a sprinkle. I just had some blueberries and a passion fruit. I threw them in. I fermented it.
God!
And I've just added a little bit of. Oh, that's far too much.
So it's basically 95% chili.
Yeah.
5% food.
Yeah, and also I think, I don't know if you guys have ever tried the fatali jigsaw. I think it is. I reckon, personally, I think it beats the Carolina Reaper. It is vicious. It is really, as one of the chilies that I've come across, it is the most vicious chili I've ever.
That's in here, yeah.
No, that is Carolina Reaper in that one. Yeah, so I had some Carolina Reapers left over. I think I had 500 grams. So I just decided to make I had 3 jars, and I did, handful in one, 2 handfuls in the next one, whatever was left in the third. And you guys have got the third.
All right, Luke, let's go.
Oh, I'm still shitting myself from the last one.
Oh, fuck, sorry.
No, I was about to pour some back, but I can't bring myself to do it.
No.
Right, ready?
You got this.
God, you know when the heat hits you first that you're in trouble.
Given the heat, it's actually still really flavoursome, but
it is really tasty.
Yeah, so that one, that was a 6-month ferment. I'd actually forgotten about them. So yeah, that was fermented for 6 months. So they should be funky and fruity.
Ooh, I feel like I might have a slight heart attack. Give me a minute, Khan, or one of you two talk.
I got nothing. Obviously, we were talking about. Oh fuck me! We were talking about earlier hot ones. And this gives you a newfound respect for like when they have to eat the really hot shit and then still try and conjure up responses to questions. Because I
tell you what I would like to do is offer a challenge to anybody listening to the podcast. If they go and purchase a bottle of XXX Circus and a kind of limited edition one from the Lazy Scientist, buy both of them, put it onto 1 spoon or 1 cracker or however you'd like to consume it. And if you can consume them, film the video, the reaction, and send it to us. And if you have an almost blank reaction, I will reimburse you and I will buy you a gift set from each brand as well. That's a personal challenge, which I'll happily put out there. But 0 reaction. I don't want to see you crying from it because, yeah, that was bad.
Steve, that's fucking hot, mate.
Yeah. I tell you what, though. Give me let me show you something.
I mean, just both of them combined, because that XXX is fucked as well.
I'm sweating.
Lovely cardboard box, but this contains the chilies that I grew this year in their ferments. And I don't usually try new things. I'm doing mashes in these vacuum seal bags because I ran out of jars. JJ, you will appreciate that one because that is my Fatalis.
Nice.
That I grew. This is a 3-year-old plant. But I have something called a Scotch brain, which is supposed to be absolutely incredible. But this is the one that I'm really looking forward to. So this is Borg 9 chilies. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I've never tried them myself personally. So I've got some very, very interesting, not for human consumption, sorry. That one, the one I had is quite hot. Not for human consumption sources.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
You got an ice lolly.
Oh.
Khan has an ice lolly.
Good man.
Oh my God. Yeah. Fair play, mate. Fair play.
Well, gentlemen, you two have truly fucked us up. Now, just to kind of wrap it up, you know, I completely appreciate it's Friday night, and I'm sure you've got things that you'd like to do rather than watching me and Khan cry.
Oh yeah, I got big plans. I'm going clubbing, I'm going to the pub. Like, yeah, so many plans.
Got a rave to go to.
Well, I might go to my kitchen.
Yeah.
And even in normal times, that would be standard on a Friday night for me anyway. You know. However, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both. I would like to kind of just touch on the last bits. Please obviously like, subscribe, follow. We're on all major platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, soon to be Apple Podcasts as well. JJ is the Somerset Chilli Co. You can find our specific collaboration in the links in our bio as well. But all of his other sources, we recommend every single one of them. La Player being mine and Khan's personal favourite. The Lazy Scientist at Lazy Ferments.
This is beautiful, by the way, Steve. Absolutely beautiful, that one.
It's honestly, like, this one's beautiful, and I'm going to put an order in over the next few days for your for the rest of the sources that you do. So I would definitely be hitting you up for that. But honestly, like, it's just so nice to kind of collaborate, and this has been such a fun episode for us both, and I hope you both enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, much appreciated. So nice to see you, Luke, Khan, Steve. Been watching. My Instagram is at Somerset Chilli Co. Also on Facebook, Twitter, use less, and venturing onto YouTube. I can't say when, but will be.
Nice, excited.
Literally been such a fun episode, guys. Really enjoyed it. I can barely get my words out at this stage, but yeah, honestly, thoroughly enjoyed this one. Everyone watching, I hope you have too, and I'm looking forward to doing something similar to this in the future, or meeting you guys in person, because this has been really fun.
I tell you what we will do, is we will revisit this and film a live tasting session at the festival in London. Let's kind of collaborate, and let's actually link up on this one, because I think that would be, we'll try and get some members of the public involved as well. So yeah, that would be a great idea to kind of follow up on.
And same as always, links to everything in the bio, JJ's Instagram, Steve's Instagram, websites, it'll all be there. Thank you very much for watching again. It's been a great episode, guys.
Talk to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much,
guys.
Pleasure.